The local law number 8 that was passed on October 20, 2009 will ban public drinking of alcohol in the City of Yarra. The City of Yarra held consultations with local members and debated about the effects of the community prior to passing the law. The introduction of the law was aimed to reduce the incidence of alcohol-related violence and self-harm in the entertainment precincts.
Well, wouldn't have introduced a local law if we didn't think there would be positive benefits. So one of the reasons we have introduced it is that there has been an increasing number of problems to do with late night drinking around entertainment venues, bars, hotels, clubs, things like that. And the police have been reporting to us that they are having trouble intervening in some of those incidents or intervening in situations which might become a problem before they have a problem. So they have requested us to have a local law which will allow them to approach people drinking in the street and ask them to stop drinking and tip out their drinks.
Yeah.
To prevent it escalating into something worse, such as violence, assault, vandalism, that sort of thing.
The 24-hour drinking law will be implemented on December the 1st. Some local parks and reserves have been exempt from the ban. Residents expressed their opinions.
Are you guys aware or have you heard about the drinking ban that's going to be coming into place, and what do you think of it?
I think it'll be a good thing because I'm one of the people that do partake with drinking on the streets.
Yeah.
And the rowdiness and just the stupidity of some people, alright? It will curtail that. I don't know whether they'll stop it altogether because they'll just go somewhere else and drink. So whether it be in little parks in the back alleys or in the alleys themselves.
Fitzroy Legal Aid have expressed concerns over the use of discretion of police powers and targeting disadvantaged communities.
The theory is that the police treat everybody the same, but the police are human beings and the police have limited time, and so decisions are made, discretion is exercised, they have choices, and they sometimes use that discretion very well, and sometimes they use that discretion in a way which is targeting particular groups. So there's lots of research that says, not just here in Melbourne, but across the world, that the police have values which correspond with the mainstream community, and the mainstream community are often biased against particular groups. So discretion is a huge problem in terms of how these expanded powers get used.
St. Mary's House of Welcome is a community agency that provides services such as meals, showers, and a space for interaction of people from disadvantaged communities.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Roseanne, Sister Roseanne.
How was you? After how long?
So the ban, which comes into force on the 1st of November, 1st of December?
Yeah.
1st of December?
Yeah.
Will obviously have an effect on a number of those who access the service. My role is to advocate for those who access the service. Therefore, I'm very pleased that there will be a period of grace because to change somebody's total way of life is an enormous shift in how they actually then interact within the spaces. So like, as you would all know from basically from here down to Collingwood, Richmond, there's a considerable amount of alcohol consumed in public spaces. So how people then adjust to that way of socialising is going to be the big shift.
Part of it is also about the targeting, like who are they actually targeting? Are they targeting our guys or are they targeting the crew that comes to Fitzroy on a Friday and Saturday night to go out?
Yeah, because
to do that will come fall down the street.
To the Traders Association, the local law will benefit their business. Mike Brickles is the president of the Business Association in Smith Street.
Now, some of the feedback we've had here is that people will come to our premises, but they said they won't stay in Smith Street because they're intimidated by some of the drunken behaviour. Sometimes there's aggravation, there's some quite aggressive begging going on. And I think it's just, it's an undesirable situation to have in a public place. To be quite honest, it's a problem which is
to the new law, a person who fails to comply with the law can be fined up to $100. The fine is the last option for enforcement. A person consuming alcohol in the street will be asked to cease consuming the drink. Seal a container of alcohol, tip the liquor out into a receptacle approved by the police officer, or surrender any open container of liquor to the authorised officer. There is therefore a concern that the law may create a strain between police officers and community members.
I think one of the concerns as well is that if you did try not to, one of the concerns we've had generally about it is that where you criminalise a new behaviour, the interface between the police and the community can become more volatile. So if you refuse to do what the police asked you to do, you might end up in a situation of conflict with the police, which would not be useful, and you may end up being charged with other offences like resist police, drunk in public place, and so on.
I agree with legal aid in that, and this was a really big concern for us, in that people who are possibly alcoholic, who are not thinking rationally sometimes, and who feel provoked by being approached by a policeman will react in a way that's not helpful to themselves, and so that behaviour might result in arrest, and I understand that already does happen. So that is a concern now, and it will continue to be a concern. And one of the reasons we're developing a protocol with the police, and we're doing this in conjunction with Legal Aid, Fitzroy Legal Aid, and also the Victorian Aboriginal Legal Service, who understand these situations very well. We're developing guidelines where the police will need to follow a series of steps before even getting to considering arrest, and will need to account for having followed those steps internally. So those situations can be quite volatile on both sides, and it's really essential that there is a protocol developed that the police need to follow. The other thing that's going to be important is cross-cultural training for the police. There have been issues around time being available for police to do that. We are urging the state government and our local member to ensure that time is made available so that police can be trained in that.
We understand that there are people who are disadvantaged in the community. This local law is not about targeting anyone. It's about trying to address a community issue that quite clearly, in terms of the issues that we see in terms of the CBD in particular, it's heightened every Monday in terms of the damage and the assaults and the link between alcohol and violence. This is just a falling in line with what the community would expect about behaviour within its community. So it's not a policing issue in the sense that we're trying to have all this enforcement. To me, it's actually about trying to educate the community about acceptable standards of behaviour.
Local law will apply 24 hours a day, but what we will do is we will monitor the effects of it very closely for the first 12 months. We will ask for data, statistics from police every 3 months, and we will also ask people who have been drinking on the street to keep us informed about their experiences so that we can monitor what is happening. And if there are really negative effects on some people that were unintended, then we will have to act.
As the law comes into effect on the 1st of December, Yarra reporters will keep a close watch over whether the implementation of Law Number 8 will help curb the alcohol-related violence on the street in the City of Yarra. I'm Rachel Akiwi for Yarra Reporter.